You must be a little sleepy. You were following the Oscars for us as well on the WSJ Entertainment team. But let's back up and talk about the other films, the ones who will be up next year for the Oscars. Who was in the front of the pack this past weekend?
Well, in terms of box office, the top film was Active Valor, which is from Relativity Media. And it's actually an action drama that doesn't have any real celebrities. It stars real-life Navy SEALs.
And this movie had a little bit of controversy around it. The Department of Defense had some concerns that, defense secrets were going to be given away. They worked it out in the end. But this movie primarily it seemed to have a heavy male viewership over the weekend. Is that right?
Yes, it's the sort of thing that definitely appeals to males, and got them out to see the movie. It was kind of counter to Oscars because it still made $25 million over the weekend.
But interesting test on their part to be using these real-life Navy SEALs. All right, let's jump over to the next one who came in, and that was Tyler Perry's Good Deeds. How much did that bring in, Michelle?
That brought in around $16 million. It's actually a fairly soft opening for a Tyler Perry film, which typically opens up pretty big. And because he has a very dedicated audience.
And with the premise of this particular film of his is what?
Well, it's a little different from his Medea movies, which are a little bit of a caricature. This one, he plays actually just a real-life character, struggling to help this woman that he meets. And
our number 3, Journey to the Mysterious Island. What's that about, and how did it fare?
Well, that is it's a film that actually opened a couple weeks ago. Both the number 3 and the number 4 films this week are carryovers, and they're just holding up really well.
The Denzel Washington thriller that took the top spot last weekend, that's called Safe House. It fell to number 4. What does that typically mean when you fall from 1 to 4? Is that considered all right that you're still in the top 5, or does it mean that it's probably things are gonna peter off after here?
Well, that's actually really great. I mean, it was surprising that it was still number 1 last week because this movie's been out for almost 4 weeks. So the fact that it was number 1 for last week is actually great for the film because it just shows that people were really interested. And so if you're a month, if you're a couple weeks in and then you drop to number 4, that's actually pretty good.
And about the extreme opposite of the Act of Valor, which, as you said, features Navy SEALs and claimed number 1, was the number 5 slot, a romantic drama. Tell us about that, The Vow.
This is, the same as Journey to the Safe House that came out before Valentine's Day weekend, has played really well with audiences and has gotten good buzz, so people are continuing to see it.
And before we let you go, Michelle, you were following the Oscars. Anything that surprised you about last night?
Not really. It was this year it's been surprisingly on target in the sense that everyone that won all the pre-award festivals won at the Oscars. Even something that's a so-called surprise like Meryl Streep is not a huge surprise because she has won Best Actress at some of the other award ceremonies coming up to yesterday.